The mystery of King Arthur. We have no doubt all heard the story of King Arthur, how he became king of Camelot after he pulled Excalibur from the stone. His love for his wife Guinevere and the camaraderie he shared with knights of the Round Table. Those knights, like Lancelot, would in turn become almost as famous as the king himself. Let not forget the story of the wizard, Merlin. Hollywood has adapted Arthur's legend multiple times using various theories on his existence as the main plot line. None of them have sadly been very good, but they have helped stir the question. Did King Arthur really exist? Arthur is first mentioned in tales and poems from the 9th century AD. During this time it was common practice for manuscripts to be rewritten and added to, making it possible the story was even earlier. For this reason exact dating would be impossible. With ladies of the lake, wizards, and other fantastical things, it is still possible that this story was only based on fact if not being 100% factual. However, if King Arthur did really exist, the reality was likely less magical. The earliest accounts tell of a war chief, not a king, who fought several battles against the Saxons. However, even the accuracy of these accounts is debatable as they are not backed up by proof. The story only developed its unlikely aspects from the version created by Geoffrey of Monmouth's History of the Kings of Britain from the year 1138. In his version he aimed his focus on narrative unity and a splash of excitement instead of historical accuracy. Despite lacking facts, Geoffrey's history proved hugely popular and significant. French and English writers were soon churning out Arthurian romances, introducing now familiar characters and concepts. Sir Lancelot's forbidden love for Guinevere, which was also turned into a movie starring Richard Gere and Sean Connery, The Quest for the Holy Grail, The Green Knight. Previously freestanding tales, such as that of Tristan and Isolde, were reframed as episodes in the larger saga. The legend of King Arthur became a comic book-style shared universe, a container for folktales from across Europe. But is there any evidence to link King Arthur to real-world history? The stories place him in a real historical and political environment in southern Britain, near Wales and Cornwall, in the 5th century AD, within a generation of the Roman withdrawal in AD 410. Modern-day Tintagel has been touted as a location for his Camelot, and recent excavations from 2016 have only strengthened its Arthurian claims. What has become evident was that Tintagel had a significant relationship with the Eastern Mediterranean, with numerous Byzantium artifacts and evidence being uncovered. Was this area perhaps a lot wealthier than originally imagined? Could this wealth and power have somehow influenced the original writers of this legend? The Roman occupation had brought peace and prosperity to Britain. Their departure created a power vacuum that homegrown war chiefs scrambled to fill, while leaving the island newly vulnerable to conquest by the seafaring Saxons. During the time the stories speak of Arthur defeating invasions from the encircling Saxons, such as in the Battle of Badon in the year 500, where he is credited with personally slaying as many as 960 Saxons. Despite the endless stories and numerous amounts of documentation, no direct evidence has ever been found detailing the exploits of King Arthur. British archaeologist Noel Myers, who devoted 50 years to the search, wrote near the end of his life that, "No figure on the borderline of history and mythology has wasted more of the historian's time." Some scholars proposed that although Arthur himself was not a historical person, his legend may have been inspired by one. Some of these potential Arthurs that have been considered are frankly implausible. The claims for Artur mac Aidan, a prince of a 5th century Gaelic kingdom in the west of Scotland, and Lucius Artorius Castus, an Etruscan-born Roman cavalryman who occupied Britannia in the 2nd century, hinge mostly on their names. They are 400 miles too far north and 300 years too early, respectively, to be possible. For interest's sake, an Antoine Fuqua movie, called King Arthur and starring Clive Owen, used the theory of castus as their main plot line. Of all of the sad and tired Arthur movies, this was our favorite. A more likely option, identified by historian Geoffrey Ashe, was the 5th-century Romano-British military commander Wriothemus. He is mentioned in Roman histories as leading a war party in Brittany, the Celtic province in the north of France, supporting Roman troops in a campaign against the Goths around the year 470. His authenticity is further established by a surviving letter written to him by the Bishop of Clermont. The Gothic historian Jordanes even called Wriothemus, King of the Britons, in 551, although the size and location of his kingdom is unknown. Here at Dark Histories, we firmly believe that the story of King Arthur was just that, a story. To continue to search for some definitive historical figure is a foolish and frankly a waste of time. That being said, why could ancient storytellers not have been inspired by the combined actions of the many, in the same way our modern authors create composite characters? Please do drop a like and subscribe. Comments are always welcome, and we love a good discussion.